美国这个国家还有一个很大的隐忧，就是它的工会。工会呢，并不完全都是错的，但是美国的工会有一个很严重的问题，就经常不了解他的工人跟他的产业所面临的挑战，如何坐下来和资方协商一个合理的价格，同时可以让他的工人做好职业训练，跟着整个产业的升级，赶快的转型。他没有办法扮演这个角色。美国的工会领袖常常沦为跟政客一样，因为他们个人本身跟政客的结合相当的深，所以他是讨好他下面的工人，最后也埋葬他的工人。最近呢，美国的汽车工会、汽车工人联合会，全名是这样 UAW， 他向通用汽车、福特汽车，还有专门生产吉普车的一家公司叫做 Stellantis， 这几家汽车谈一个4年的劳资协议，要求涨薪多少？你很难以想象，40%。但真正的现象是什么？传统汽车正被淘汰当中，所有相关的零件业跟原来的工人，如果你并不是懂得电动汽车，或是没有能力电动汽车的人，你会被 lay off， 你会被资遣，而你这个产业会整个的破产。在不了解整体大趋势之下，也没有进行对他们足够的职业训练，在这一刻提出一个40%的涨薪，它简直就是一个不需要任何外国的敌人，就是自己就扼杀了自己国家的汽车产业。
当电动车与传统汽车销售版图此消彼长的市场大趋势随时间累积越见明显，有一天传统汽油车将消失时，那些100年来以汽车零件制造为业的公司是否面临淘汰？美国财经频道 CNBC 给了一个残酷的答案。
The automotive industry was built around engines. But now, anyone who makes parts for them is facing a harsh future. Revenues for internal combustion engines and fuel and exhaust systems are all expected to decline 44% through 2027. Meanwhile, revenues for electric drivetrains and batteries or fuel cells are expected to rise 245%. But there is another problem. An internal combustion engine powertrain has about 2,000 parts. Battery electric vehicle powertrains have about 20, sometimes less.
相比电动车零件少、制程单纯，传统汽车若要完成组装，正常流程从供应链上游到下游共需要3万多个零件，且在这条供应链上，美国境内多是由家族经营的小型企业，光是北美100家规模不同的零件供应商交织出上看50亿美金的利润网络。传统汽车产业一旦没落，同坐一条船上的他们福祸相依。
We've been in this building for about 50 years, and the trees that are out front weren't there. When I pull in, I see that, and that's the history for me that makes me excited. It reminds me just how long we've been around, and that we've got a duty, especially in my role as president, to make sure that we can continue.
Today, they are threatened.
And if you can't adapt, then you're going to be, again, on the outside looking in as the industry moves towards battery electric.
There's this big movement heading towards EV. A lot of us are waiting to see what that really pans out to be. And I'm seeing some hesitation on orders and large programs that take years for development, if you would, in order for them to get into the lines.
面对全球电动车浪潮来势汹汹，工厂位于密西根州，产品线7-8成商品都供应传统汽车业，甚至预拌是引擎专属的美国零件制造商 Storch Magnetics， 作为一家传统汽车零件供应商，对于自己该不该趁此浪潮求新转型，避免在太旧换新循环中走进历史，在态度上所呈现出的左顾右盼，正是美国财经频道希望深度讨论的产业面向。
As we don't spend money on redoing new engines or revising engines, then there's less reason for the vehicle manufacturer to say, well, I need to buy a new conveyor. Well, if it still works, they're probably just going to keep fixing the old one or maybe just revamp it slightly It's only when you spend money on a brand new facility, then that's when the vehicle manufacturers say, you know, I probably want all new equipment in here just to make sure that I've got the latest. And those are the opportunities to spend money.
从数字来看，全美2022一整年全新的电动车销量，尽管只占车市总份额8%，但与去年同期相比暴增了55%，惊人的成长幅度之所以会让美国部分传统汽车零件供应商犹豫不决，他们说宁可观望，也不愿加快投资可生产电动车零件先进设备的原因，在于心中的诺大问号：传统汽车会走入历史吗？这样的放手一搏值得吗？毕竟前车之鉴不是没有。
Looking back at solar as an example, there was a lot of solar plants in Michigan that were brought online because there was a big push by the government, and I watched a lot of those get shuttered and closed. So it makes a lot of us think, I think, internal combustion engines, is this for real? Does this stick around? Is this something that's going to be our path? The market will ultimately dictate that. And I think the technology is exciting. I think that there's absolutely change coming. I just hope that it's paced more so this time.
All of these factors kind of weigh on suppliers, and they say, well, if there's not going to be enough of this or not enough power or whatever the case might be, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. But yet the vehicle manufacturers are moving ahead. And as they move ahead, the suppliers, if they don't follow them, they're going to be increasingly without new opportunities to sell more product into those vehicle manufacturers. The surge is coming.
受电动车大军波及订单者岂止小型企业，全球最大汽车零件供应商德国博士、日本电宗、加拿大麦格纳全都难敌零件被电动车精简后整体需求滑落的不争事实。
I think that we're in a period now of heavy investment, either through R&D or through M&A. So I think it's actually very difficult to invest in this group. The companies that we like are companies that really don't face this issue at all. I think that's really the answer for a lot of these suppliers. Now the issue is EVs obviously use less parts than ICEs do, right? So in aggregate, there'll be probably less to feed more mouths, so to speak.
In a traditional internal combustion engine driveline, you've got everything from the radiator back to the rear axle. You've got not just the radiator, there's the motor. And the motor consists of typically a cast iron engine block, there's cast iron heads or aluminum heads. You've got all of the internal combustion engine pieces that are literally hundreds, if not thousands, that are part of that bill of material. As you advance to the transmission, same sort of scenario, through the drive shaft to the traditional rear end. There's also a lot of gears and a lot of hard metal parts. Most of all of that gets removed in an EV.
由于电动车零组件高达70%，与传统汽车内装截然不同，这也是为什么对于美国境内这些多半是家族传承、规模小的汽车零件供应商来说，既然一次性汰换生产线必然得付出庞大成本，踌躇转型的关键便在于未来能不能回收成本，甚至获利。2019年，汽车传动系统全球市占$930亿，引擎系统$730亿，到了2035年都会只剩下几分之几，废气处理系统、燃油系统命运相同。显然，按此趋势发展下去，汽车零件业生存空间绝对遭到挤压，而机会向来是给准备好的人。
If you're going to survive, you have to be creative, you have to be innovative, but you can't let it overtake your business.
美国零件制造商 Storch Magnetics 不但在疫情期间创造了全新品牌，开发出空气过滤器，也在既有生产线上推出名为超级磁铁的产品，装置在卡车前端，用来吸取道路上各种不明金属物品，协助提供道路安全。同样原理的产品也运用到了深海，协助吸纳海中大型金属废弃物。若不想未来被淹没在变革与创新浪潮中，唯有踏出舒适圈，才能成为掌控自己的主人。
过去外星人常常只是被认为是光怪陆离的一些人的谈话。美国的国会正式的举办一个 UFO， 就是所谓的飞碟的听证会，而前美国的情报局官员正式的在这个听证会里头证实有外太空非人类的遗骸。 过去呢 ，Hawkins 在过世之前，他曾经说他相信，在整个宇宙中可能会有比人类更具有智慧的生命。你不要去找他们，因为他还没有找到你，你安静的活着。但又有人认为，当我们这个地球如此互相残杀，为了不同的价值，为了不同的宗教，残杀到这个程度，或许只有外星人会使我们团结在一起。
数十年来，人类无法克制，幻想着外星有生命，幻想着从外星来的异形入侵地球。人类不断渴求着一个答案：地球以外是否有生命？在7月26号一场美国众院听证会中，一名退伍美国海军中校告诉众议员，不明飞行物是真实存在的。
And he also said that, quote, non-human biologics have been found at crash sites.
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
一名退伍海军飞行员甚至指控美国政府正在庇护外星飞船。
Parts of our government are aware of more about UAP than they let on, but excessive classification practices keep crucial information hidden. Since 2021, all UAP videos are classified as secret or above. This level of secrecy not only impedes our understanding, but fuels speculation and mistrust.
根据海军已公开的文件，自2013年6月27号至2019年2月13号，记录到8起与不明飞行器的近距离遭遇事件，其中包括几起危险的近距离遭遇事件，类似《纽约时报》曾披露的这一起。
Oh my gosh, dude! Wow, look at it fly!
当初这段画面被公开时，前总统奥巴马还被问到他知不知情。
Truth is that when I came into office, I asked, right? I was like, all right, is there the lab somewhere where we're keeping the alien specimens in spaceship? They did a little bit of research, and the answer was no.
But that doesn't mean we're alone in the universe.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
其实美国政府也曾试图找出它们是什么。
The modern era of UFOs really started right after World War II. 1947 was the beginning of what you might call the flying saucer era in terms of people spotting things in the sky that they thought were extraterrestrial.
I swear to God, this is not a joke. They're like 9 foot, 10 foot tall.
From the 1940s until the late 1960s, early 1970s, the U.S. government had a very active UFO sort of search and study program. But that was shut down, and for about 50 years, the Pentagon disavowed any knowledge that it had a meaningful UFO program.
不过，《纽约时报》说这并非事实。纽时揭露，在国防部每年6000亿美元的预算当中，有2200万美元在无人察觉的情况下，用于一个名为“先进航空威胁识别项目”的计划。不过，该项目已在2012年结束。
Government's renaming of this from UFOs to UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, anomalous phenomenon, is to try to capture the idea that some of this are probably not objects, that some of this, it might be atmospheric, meteorological, astronomical phenomenon that we don't understand, but some chunk of it is certainly advanced aerial technologies being tested by adversaries like China, Russia, and Iran. One of the things that the Pentagon has said that its UAP program has discovered is a heretofore unknown Chinese transmedium drone. That is a Chinese craft that comes out of the water and transitions to flight.
也因此，这不再是单纯的宇宙探索，而是关乎国家安全的严肃议题。
Right now, we need a system where pilots can report without fear of losing their jobs. There is a fear that the stigma associated with this topic is going to lead to professional repercussions, either through management or perhaps through their yearly physical check.
Do you believe UAPs pose a potential threat to our national security?
Yes, and here's why. The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had, and you could put that anywhere. If you had one, you captured one, you reverse engineered it, you got it to work, you're talking something that can go into space, go someplace, drop down in a matter of seconds, do whatever it wants, and leave, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing.
As we wrap up our conversation, I want to try to answer the question we posited in the opening. So far as we know, only Earth can sustain and host life. Is there life on other planets?
The last 25 years of science, the last decade of science, leads to the almost inescapable conclusion that there is probably not just life out there, but probably intelligent life. The math is really on the side of extraterrestrial civilizations out there. The challenge is any of it close enough that we will ever notice it?
We'll all fly away together into the forever and beautiful sky.